Live from Paradise Studios in Massapequa, New York, it's Unger the Radar, starring Randy Unger. Brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Tonight, Randy will be interviewing actress, writer Kirat Ann Kadwani and producer Philip Giambri. Randy will also be reviewing the new films First Man and After Everything, and will discuss New York Comic Con with special guest critics Robin Channing, Jennifer Covey, and Joseph Amendolia. And now, here's your host, Randy Unger.
Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and this is another edition of Unger the Radar, a very special, jam-packed edition of Unger the Radar. And with me right now, I have actress and writer Kirat Ann Kadwani.
Hello.
Hi. And producer Mr. Philip Giambri. Hey guys, how's it going today?
Good.
Thanks for being here today. It's great.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So usually we talk mostly film, but today it's very special because you are a stage actress as well. And you guys are promoting this off-Broadway show, rather, called Intrusion. Also, my name is, they call me Q.
That's right.
They call me Q. So tell everyone a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm an actress from New York City, and I do a lot of theater, TV, film, web series, corporate videos, but I'm really proud of my solo plays that I've written and which I perform all over the country at colleges, both of which have been off-Broadway as well.
Nice.
Intrusion was off-Broadway the summer of 2018, this year, and I'm really excited that I get to keep performing it all over the country and provide sexual violence prevention programming to students everywhere.
Very heavy topic.
Very heavy.
Yeah. So tell us a little about your involvement. Like, what is it about the Me Too movement that has impacted your work so much?
Absolutely. You know, I started writing it 3 years ago, and I actually showed Philip the early draft. He gave me some excellent feedback, and last year I decided to rewrite it. I decided I wanted to start performing it this year before we saw the resurgence of the Me Too movement, before the Weinstein case broke, and everybody was saying, why are you writing this show?
Yeah.
And I thought, because it's a big problem globally. Rape culture exists.
Why are you writing this show? It's so important.
Yes. And then all of a sudden it became a very big deal. It became daily headline news, and we saw how important it is to get this conversation going, especially because it affects so many people in every sector of our society.
Yeah.
We especially see it on college campuses, all the way up the ladder to politics.
Yeah. But what's been your involvement with the performances?
We met a long time ago, and we respected each other's work, and she's one of the hardest working people in the profession that I know. She sent me a copy of the script, and I read it, and I thought it was wonderful. I made some comments. I sent them back to her, and she thanked me for my honesty. And then she said about to totally rewrite the show. And 2 years later, it just pops out at the most opportune time in history for women in this kind of involvement with the movement of Me Too. And the play is so topical. And the thing that I like about it the most is it answers the questions that people haven't had answered by the things they see on TV. That's the best part.
And the timing couldn't be better for this.
I mean, you know, that's how things work, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like I said, I was always going to be performing it this year. But I think it's really important, and it's exceptional that this is coming to the forefront, especially with the Me Too movement and Time's Up movement that we see, which allows survivors of sexual violence to feel safe, to feel that they don't need to feel ashamed anymore, that there's that they can feel brave enough, that they will have the support. And there are lots of people out there, lots of organizations and individuals. In fact, I include a lot of statistics and quotes and facts in my show. I play 8 characters in an hour.
That's awesome.
Just so that we can understand how many people are really affected. So, for example, I added a line recently. It says 760 million women, 56 million men have been raped. We always hear numbers like 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 75. We don't know what that means. But that's how many people have been raped.
Oh my God.
And so we start to understand why the Me Too movement, why this conversation is becoming an everyday conversation. Because it's time to stop it.
And the numbers keep growing and growing, so it's really unfortunate.
And we're hoping that if more people come forward, which is really the biggest message of Intrusion, is to give survivors a voice, and to also motivate people who support the movement to
Yeah.
say, keep going, change
Right.
takes time. We're hoping that once people come forward, we can then really start to see true change and really
Right.
start to do away with all these people who are predators.
So what do you think is the relationship between art and really social movements like this? Like, what's the connection? Do you think art can really change society?
You know, Plato has a quote. He said, "Those who tell the stories rule the world." And I really believe that.
Okay.
I've always been motivated by political theater that can truly make a social change, get audience to see themselves
Yeah.
in the work that they're seeing on stage. And I think that's the beauty of art, the ability of art to change people's minds and to say, how am I truly connected to this issue? So when I perform it at colleges, I'm always amazed and impressed by how the students are connected to my characters. There are certain characters that they love. So I
Okay.
play a male day trader.
Okay.
And the character starts off really fun and dancing, and he's at a bar drinking, and they're laughing along, they're relating to the character, and then all of a sudden, halfway through the monologue, the character reveals, he confesses that he was a victim of sexual
Oh, wow.
assault.
The
So-
last person you'd expect to.
The last
Right.
person you'd expect, but in a really important story to tell.
Sure.
They also love the journalist character I play, who represents how media should address and approach this issue by really trying to focus on the truth
Yeah.
and supporting people who come forward instead of making judgments ahead of time. I also play a politician character who is liberal,
Okay.
who wants to help, but it's election year, so he can't
Oh,
move funds
tricky.
into helping the situation, which is what we see in our society today. So I try to help students and audiences see things. I try to focus the issue for them so they can see how all of these different sectors come together
Okay.
and why it is that we haven't done anything yet.
That's great. Well, I hope this show does really well. I hope it opens up everyone's eyes to this. Tell me a little bit about your past work. I know you're a film and TV actress as well.
I am. I'm lucky to have been on a bunch of TV shows as
Great.
well. I'll be playing a role on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, the new season.
Oh, cool.
So I'm excited about that. And I just went to a screening of a web series I was on. I played a teacher. So I'm starting to play a variety of different roles, and I'm
Yeah.
excited about that. I currently tour my other solo play, They Call Me Q, which was also off Broadway. Philip has seen that 4 times now.
Yes.
Nice.
Big supporter.
Keeps getting better and better, I'm sure.
The thing with theater is like I started my training in theater back in the 60s, and theater was a lot more serious then. Now I get the feeling theater is about music. You know, they bring in busloads of blue-haired ladies who only want to be entertained with musicals and dancing. And theater to me was an experience, an emotional experience, an intellectual experience, and a learning experience. Clifford Odets, Arthur Miller, they set a pattern, and it kind of was disappearing. And I latched onto her because she knows that, she feels it.
That's nice.
And yeah, it's awesome. And I read something about you on the New York Times. You're known as the Ancient Mariner?
That's correct.
What is that? What's the history behind that?
Well, I perform stories from my book. I've been performing for 10 or 15 years. I tell stories. I write poetry, read poetry, and people on open mic particularly would constantly mispronounce my name, which is Giambri. I don't know that it's that difficult.
Right.
So then they took to calling me the old guy. Let's bring on the old guy.
oh.
That didn't sit well with me,
No,
so I
no.
thought, let's have a more literate version of the old guy.
Right.
And the Ancient Mariner has literary references, and everyone remembers it. So
Yeah.
I've become a lot more popular with that name than my real name. So that's who I am now.
And the Mariner refers to your time in the naval service.
Right. I served in the Navy submarine service,
That's awesome.
and it allows me to be different than myself with that stage persona too. So
What's amazing is that Philip also has an open mic,
Uh-huh.
and I went to the open mic and I would test out monologues from my show there.
cool.
So it really gave me a great opportunity to just
Test
be
your
very
material.
casual
Yeah.
about it, and something that I'd worked on the night before. There's no pressure on me. I'd go and I'd just read the monologue and see how the others there would react to it.
That's
So it's
awesome.
really, really great.
It's cool. So I actually want to go to this open mic now. This is in Manhattan?
Well, I hosted a show for 5 years. It started March of 2013, and I closed 3 bars. The show ran in bars, and the last show closed in March of 2018.
Oh, wow.
So we're currently searching for a new venue,
Okay.
and I have some physical issues that I'm facing. So I'm hoping to be starting again in January.
Okay.
Generally, we have 3 featured performers, like Q, or people who are regulars on the show, and then we have 15 or 20 open mic spots where people polish their craft. That's what it's about. It's about
great.
learning where the microphone is, where the light is, how to entertain people rather than just get up and read in a boring kind of voice that they taught you in academia.
That's why it was so wonderful to have Philip as the associate producer for Intrusion Off-Broadway, because he's been such a supportive force in my life, from reading the draft to inviting me to perform anything that I'm working on at the open mics, to, even, I bought his book that he has because I wanted to learn from it, and I would read it while I was on flights going to shows at colleges, because I wanted to get inspired. And I think that that's what's really important in art too, to, it's not always about your work, it's about being inspired by others' work and seeing.
It's a community, for
It's
sure.
a community,
Yeah,
and also to reiterate the message of art which I always try to remind myself, which is there are no rules. You can create whatever you want because your voice is important. Your story is important, and people want to hear that story.
Yes.
That's great. So after Intrusion, do you guys plan on working together again?
I hope so.
Whenever we can.
Yeah.
I'm all in. Anytime she has anything new she wants to try out at my show, the door is always open. I always want to hear it. Anytime she invites me to help her with anything, I'm in.
You're a dynamic duo. This is awesome.
Absolutely.
Do you see Intrusion turning into maybe a mini-series or a film?
I get asked that a lot, and I would love for that to happen. I've been thinking about how that could work, if I would play all the different characters, or if I would, you don't often see that, or if it would be a multi-character script in that way. My other show, They Call Me Q, everybody's always asking me to do that because it's about culture and identity, and it's based about my life being born in Bombay but growing up in the Bronx, New York. So I play 13 characters in 1 hour on that show, and it's really amazing to be able to play different characters, because I think then the audience gets to see different perspectives and on the same issue.
It really stretches you as an actor. I'm
Absolutely,
sure.
and I have a lot of fun doing it.
awesome.
I love when I get to that point, and where I am now, which is I don't have to think about the lines. It's really about my character, moment to
Because you
moment.
wrote it all, yeah.
I did write
That's
it all.
awesome, yeah.
So now when I'm on stage, when I'm performing, true magic happens, which is I find myself, even though I'm the character and I'm talking to somebody else, I see that other person that I'm talking to. I see them. It's bizarre, out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
And because I'm so moment to moment present in the scene, because I'm not thinking about anything except for what the character wants and what their obstacle is. So it's an amazing experience when you can get to that level.
Cool.
And her characters are so vividly drawn. I've had the luxury of seeing characters that are no longer in that play. And when she was experimenting on open mic, and I fell in love with the characters. And when they were cut because of time restrictions, no, you can't cut that person. I fell in love with that girl. You're telling, you're a woman.
I did a piece at an open mic that was called Monologues Uncut. So for They Call Me Q, I had 13 characters, but 2 characters didn't make it to the final. So, but I had them saved, and I loved them. I
And
saved
they were
their
great
drafts.
characters.
So I thought, wow, what a great opportunity for me to just perform those characters,
Yeah.
because they didn't make it to the final, and it was great fun.
Yeah. I'm sure you could maybe bring them back in the future. We'll see.
Maybe
So-
it'll be in the film version.
Yeah, definitely. Philip, you have some acting experience, or?
Yes, I went to acting school when I got out of the military, and I studied with Stella Adler in New York. I worked in the theater for about 10 years, stage managing, touring, summer stock. I did movie parts. I was in both unions, Actors Equity and Screen Actors Guild, and I was not good enough looking when they were only hiring Robert Redford types.
Oh, no.
Everyone said, hang around, you're a character actor. You get a lot of work in 15 years.
Yeah.
And, my wife said, don't you think maybe you should have a wristwatch and shoes like other people, get a job and then make money? So,
And the people at home can't see you have a bunch of tattoos, right?
yes, I
Yeah.
have 26 tattoos.
Nice.
And I got my first one at 70 years old.
Really?
Yes.
Why did it take you so long?
I didn't like tattoos.
Okay.
In submarine service, when you go to boot camp, everybody gets a Navy tattoo. You go in submarines, everybody gets a submarine insignia tattoo. I always thought they were kind of gaudy.
Okay.
And then when I started performing, I was having, no one considered me a poet, no one considered me a storyteller. I was kind of like a freak. So I said, well, no one's going to publish me, I'll publish myself. So I started getting all of my stories. As I wrote a new story, I got a tattoo of that
Oh, that's
story.
awesome. I wish it was warmer outside. You could show them off.
I've taken my shirt off at you.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
But the collaborator, the lady who does all my tattoos, is doing artwork for my next 2 books. So
Oh, awesome.
you get a chance to see it.
I'll look forward to that.
She
That's
does
cool.
beautiful
Very
work.
cool.
Linda Walken.
Nice, nice. And speaking of plugs, guys, we're about out of time for this segment, but plug away. What do you have on the horizon? What's coming up?
Sure. Well, I'm still touring Intrusion, and you can see the trailer and pictures, the fully loaded website, intrusionshow.com. I'm also touring They Call Me Q, that's theycallmeqshow.com. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so I post all my upcoming gigs and events on my Facebook page, which is Q Kedwani.
Awesome. And for those who, if you can't spell that, it's, you can, see it on my Facebook page. It's all up there, guys. Philip, anything you want to promote?
I have a book called Confessions of a Repeat Offender.
Okay.
It came out in 2016. It's available on Amazon Online or Barnes & Noble. I have 2 other books in the works right now that I'm waiting for the illustrations to be done for them,
Okay.
but they're already written. And I perform all around town all the time. I'm like downtown guy. I like open mic because I try all my new material.
Nice.
I meet friends like you. And I'm retired. I'm having fun.
That's awesome. I'm going to see you at one of those open mic nights, for sure.
Great. Let
Cool.
me know.
Yeah.
We'll have a reunion.
Yeah. Thank
We
you.
have a nice family.
Yeah, I love it. I get a really good vibe here. So,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. I wanna
Rhymes
thank-
of the Ancient Mariner is what the show is called.
I love it. I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you.
This has been great. And guys, we'll be right back with our film review segment after this short commercial break. Take right here. All right. Hey guys, we're back with Under the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger. This is our film review segment, and I have a lovely panel of guests today. We've got a full panel today. We've got a lot to cover. And I know that most of you were at New York Comic Con this year.
Yes.
Yep. 2 out of the 3. And I want to start with Jennifer Covey.
Hi.
Well, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a couple months. right?
Yeah, August was the last time I saw
Yeah.
you.
Well,
so-
welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you for being back. So tell us about your experience at Comic Con.
Well, this
year.
is my very first con ever.
Interesting. Okay.
So, I decided to go big or go home.
Yeah.
Just go to the biggest Comic-Con there is. It was not what I was expecting at all. I mean, I always wanted to go because I just like the concept of cosplay in general. That I do on my own time, but I've never done it at a con. Like, I do it for, like, Instagram and acting stuff, that kind of thing. But,
Okay.
so I was like, oh, let's just try this. I dressed up and everything.
Who'd you dress up
but,
as first off?
Holly Golightly from Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
People were like, Audrey. It was kind of funny.
good.
But, I think it would be an overwhelming experience for somebody who, I personally don't mind, like, talking to just a bunch of random strangers, but if you were, like, somebody who just was, like, into comic books
Yeah.
and wanted, I would do something a little smaller first.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I had a great time.
New York Comic Con, was that the second biggest con in the world?
It's
Probably.
like neck and neck with
San Diego.
Comic-Con International.
Yeah, it's pretty massive.
Yeah.
It's 4 days. It's thousands of people in and out of the halls
Like
of the Jap.
100,000 people.
It's
minimum.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
it's
I can't even
phenomenal.
imagine San Diego.
I can't even wrap my head around it. I can't even get tickets to San Diego.
Yeah,
I mean,
Robin, you go every year.
Yeah, my first one being 2010, so I'm a veteran.
Yeah,
now.
me too. Same year.
Yeah, so, no, same year, right?
Yeah, yeah.
that was the last time New York Comic Con was a 3-day event, by the way.
Uh-huh.
It's been 4 days ever since.
Interesting.
And this is now what, our 9th one in a row. I'm like, wow. It's like no matter what, it's an experience.
I always get overwhelmed by it every time I enter the center.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, right?
Like 9 years later, it's still that same amount of
Yeah, I
people.
didn't know
It's like-
where to go. Like I walked in and I was like, what? I
Yeah.
just walked in a direction and
It's
then
ridiculous.
like
Je-
2 hours to just.
They
like,
need to
know.
give you like a map or something. when you
They
get
do
there.
give maps. You know, they give
It's,
like. You know,
it's not that. I'm
Well,
not thrilled with it.
It takes getting used to. I mean, they got the program guides with the maps. They got
Yeah.
the apps with the maps. I had to say that carefully. All right. But Jen, much like my first, that was pretty much what my first time was like back in 2010.
Yeah.
It was just sensory overload.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Ridiculous.
And then there's people who are like, I mean, I was dressed up, but there are people who are like really dressed up, you know,
Yeah.
with like mechanical arms and stuff. And I'm like, I don't even know where to walk or look or who to
Yeah.
talk to.
You
It's
know
just-
Dan Hoffman, Shaggy.
I do love Dan Hoffman.
Yeah,
I know
so
him.
he's
Yeah.
nuts with
I
that stuff.
went looking for him. I
You
was like,
did?
Dan will help me.
Yeah, he was covering the Ghostbusters booth,
Yeah.
and I was there too. But Joe, I know you're kind of the odd man out here.
Okay, so I stopped going to New York Comic Con when they started doing fan verification.
Aha.
So what anyone knows about fan verification, basically you got to give them a bunch of personal information, which then they take and they say it's to prevent scalping. But I don't know how that's going to stop scalping. It's really more that they're taking your info and they're selling it directly to marketers to solicit you or who knows what.
Oh yeah.
And in a digital age where everybody's getting hacked,
Yeah.
know, your
they don't
personal
really
info-
check. Like you
Yeah.
enter with the badge, they
Yeah.
scan it.
Yeah.
They don't check like the.
they don't check
computer.
your ID.
Yeah.
So like,
that's
what
the
do they
point.
need your personal info for?
They
So
actually
you-
don't because when I don't know what happened. I think it was because we verified ours earlier that morning before we left.
Yeah.
Like we forgot to do it ahead of time, which is probably because we'd never been to one before. But when we got there, they were like, "There's something wrong with your thing." Like they couldn't figure it out. And we were like, "Well, we just verified it this morning." They were like, "Just go in. Somebody, it'll
Really?
work after."
Well,
Yeah. So I was like, so okay. So why do I have
100,000
this?
people, they're
Yeah.
not going to split hairs over.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
No, but I'm just
But
saying, like at the end of the day, was it
the entire
like,
concept that
Yeah.
give us all your personal information, we'll keep it in a database, and we're going to protect that. Like credit card companies can't even protect your personal information; they always get hacked.
Wow.
So
I wonder if it's been cases of like Comic Con fraud.
not yet.
I don't know about that.
But-
This is just me. I don't worry. I just go in.
You just go and enjoy yourself.
I just enjoy
Yeah.
myself, you know.
I feel the same at this
Sorry to
point.
put all that
Whoever
worry
wants
on
my
you.
information probably has it anyways. So.
So
Yeah, but I get where you're coming from. You want to stay off the grid. You want to keep a safety
I
element.
want to put all my stuff out there, so
Yeah.
they don't get a pass from me. The other issue I have is you spend all this money to go to a con. What is it, like $60 for just one day?
50-ish.
Right.
50
You
to
walk
60.
in and you get hounded with everybody trying to sell you stuff. So you just to walk through the door and walk around, right? And I'm fine. Okay, you're going there. Maybe you get a special deal or a special discount, but you have to look. You have to really look for that good deal because most times you're going to get one of these action figures,
Yeah.
which you could get cheaper on
Online.
eBay. On
Yeah, yeah,
Amazon.
yeah.
It's like, why am I spending an extra $20?
Well, I got this when I was like
Yeah.
11 years old.
Yeah, that's probably the best price you got. For it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. The thing about New York Comic Con is that it's not just that there's something for
Right.
everybody. It's a lot more specific than that because you can pretty much go with like a different mission, so to speak. You can go to buy things for yourself. You could also buy things just to sell on eBay and
The
so
exclusives and the discounts are worth it if you
Oh,
can
yeah.
find them.
Yeah.
yeah.
But-
you got to be strategic about that, though.
All
Really.
these
forth.
vendors
And you got
are
to
trying,
hound for
Yeah.
those.
they're
Like
trying
the-
to get their money back.
Like the
And-
Funko booth, there was like a lottery or something. Too.
Yeah, like the
I was
first 100
asking
people. Yeah.
people about that because I see those little. I don't even know anything about those, but those little
Figures.
all
Yeah.
the time, and I didn't realize. I mean, my friend who was a panelist there, she
Oh, cool.
she was getting tickets every day or to try to get them, and she was saying like she went home and she put one of the ones she happened to get a ticket and she bought one and she paid $20 for it, and the retail sale that she was getting online was $400 for one of those things. So if you get one of those tickets,
Wow.
the turnover is incredible.
Yeah.
That paid for her whole weekend.
Yeah.
You know, she
You
goes
gotta-
for free, but it pays for
Got
her
to be
whole
super
thing.
lucky with that stuff.
Yeah.
Super persistent.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be on there on the ground floor, right when
Right.
that happens. And one of my missions, actually, for me, New York Comic Con is like different every year, not just for the sake of, not just for the fact that they have a different lineup every year, but whether consciously or not, I try to have a different experience every time I go there. Whether it's as a merchant or, in this case, boosting my social media profile because of all the photo ops that I did this year, I set myself a new record.
Yeah, you got Mark Ruffalo. That was.
Mark Ruffalo, yeah, and this was pretty much the suit that I was wearing at the time.
Yeah.
You had a booth when you were there.
No, I didn't.
No, you were just walking around promoting yourself.
Well, not promo. Well, Well, sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Well, on my social media, so that and just having fun, meeting people, and Randy, we met there one day.
Yeah, we hung
day,
out in the industry lounge. That was
That's
very
right,
cool,
yeah.
swanky.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I got you in on that one.
Thank you.
All right, and just to see what's there, and also, yeah, I made some new friends this year, and reestablished old friends, and I met guys like Randy over here. You know, so you know, you go in with whatever happens to be there at the time. Yeah, I mean, you can't just go strictly by a script or strictly by a plan. Just kind of go in and see what happens. I just rolled a dice, and you know, and it was a lot of fun.
You were also lucky with some panels too.
Oh my God!
I didn't even really-
and the panels. That's right, the panels. Like
I didn't even really bother with those because they were insanely packed. But
Well, you know what? You got to get in on the ground floor with that,
Yeah.
especially in the main showroom. The idea is to get there that morning and have your badge tapped. That
True.
way, when the panels take place later on, like whether it's in the afternoon or evening, you know you've got your seat. You just have to show up.
true.
Yeah, you know.
Just show up.
Yeah, yeah. But the morning panels, that's where you really have to be a shark. Yeah, because I got to that. What was that one morning panel? It was the Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
That was epic.
I'm kicking myself for missing that one, man.
Yeah, I don't have to do anything. I'll let Karma do the rest of it.
Nice.
You know. But,
So I'm
yeah.
curious, Joe, are there any other cons that you are against, or which ones do you prefer?
Okay, so I like Eternal Con actually. It's
Okay.
it's
That was a
more
good- yeah, that's a good one,
smaller con.
Where is that again?
They started out in the Cradle of Aviation. They recently moved over to
Nassau Coliseum.
Nassau
Oh,
Coliseum.
okay. Yeah. What stars did you see there?
Celebrity-wise, I
Yeah.
think they have. It's a little. The space is a little awkward at the Coliseum, but they had. I think last year they had, or this past summer they had Brandon Routh. Doing this
okay.
Yeah,
panel.
yeah. They had Brandon Routh this year. I
Wait,
myself.
they had the whole cast of Superman, right?
Yeah.
they
The original
did.
Superman.
Well,
right,
not all
right,
of them,
right.
obviously, but yeah.
Well, yeah, right,
Enough
right.
of them.
Yeah.
Enough of them. They
Yeah.
were going to have the late Margot Kidder, but
Yeah,
you
she
know,
was slated.
She was slated
yeah,
there,
yeah.
but then she became the late Margot Kidder. May she rest in peace.
Shatner was there too this past summer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, do you find that like the same people keep
sorry?
going? This is my first
You mean
Comic Con.
celebrities?
Just in general, like, do you keep meeting people there that go like to every single one? I mean, I'll probably go back again after I did it once. I was like, this is fun. I want to do it again.
I mean, with
but
thousands of people flooding in through, you're
I think
bound
you're talking
to
about
run
the
into
same
people.
celebrities, right?
celebrities, but I mean, like, do you notice that like
You
you
know-
obviously go to a lot? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like, do you see that
mainly-
the same cosplayers are
You're
going
always
back to
going to
all of
see
this?
Jason
yeah.
David Frank.
Oh yeah, right. him.
Always.
Okay.
He is such a cool dude, by the way, JDF.
Yeah, I've never
Oh,
met
man.
him.
I shook hands with him once.
Yeah.
The hardest
So you
guy to
know what
lock
he's
down
like.
at a con is Timok. He's never at any of those
Oh
cons.
yeah.
Oh no, he's been at Eternal Con a few times, and once in a blue moon you might be able to catch him at New York Comic. I have a picture with Time Mac.
Jeff Johns is usually at the cons.
Jeff,
The
okay.
DC guy.
Okay, right. And yeah, sometimes some of the celebs show up regularly, but then of course there's the congoers. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm a regular at New York Comic Con.
Indeed, indeed.
And I go to Eternal Con.
Right.
You know, as a matter of fact, the last Eternal Con I got pictures with Kevin Nash and Lou Ferrigno. So actually,
Nice.
that's two Hulks in 1 year.
Yeah.
I really want to go
Yeah,
to
Ruffalo this year.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo this year. Yeah.
Broadway Con. That's one I want to go to.
Oh, yeah?
'cause I'm a big
Big on
Broadway
that?
person. Yeah.
Okay.
So
You should have spoken to Karat.
I got her
Oh, you
phone
did?
number, so
Okay.
we're good.
That's it. This is what the show's all about.
Yeah. So
Bringing-
let's just expand a little bit beyond movies and
Yeah.
but into an overlapping
Yeah.
subject: pop culture conventions. All right,
Yes,
which
yes.
does encompass movies anyway.
It's not. Yeah. It's
It's
not
a
just
logical
Well,
about
that's what
extension.
I was actually when I went. I wasn't expecting I was expecting people to be like dressed up as like anime characters and
Well,
you
they
know
do
all those.
that,
They
too.
do, of
Oh,
course,
yeah,
but I mean,
yeah, so
but
many, yeah.
there was another Holly Golightly there.
Oh, was there?
And I was like,
And you ran into her?
I saw her and I
That's
was like,
funny.
this is really weird. And I mean, I made mine.
I hope you got a picture with her.
I didn't, but she's out there somewhere,
out-
knowing that we were there
She'll be
together.
back.
And
She'll
she
be
looked at me like, "Wow, I really didn't think anybody was going to show up looking like this." And
So that's the black dress.
yeah, with the cigarette,
Okay,
yeah, and the
gotcha.
pearls on the.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you remember back in the day when people wore the same outfit, they really weren't supposed to like stand next to each other in the room. But you go to Comic-Con, everyone's dressed as Wolverine. They're
Yeah.
all packed together.
all
and-
together.
Yeah. They take like
Photo
a group photo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
perfect.
The amount
opposite.
of Deadpool group photos that I see is staggering, and that goes all the way back to 2010.
They're completely
Yeah.
like throwing fashion rules out the window there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because they make up their own rules as they go along. Kind of.
I think the nice thing though is if you make a lot of the costumes yourself, like there's always like a slight difference. So it's like, oh wow, it's really cool that you did that to the
Right.
costume as
It's
opposed
your
to
own
what I
personal
did.
spin on
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's cool.
Right, and also you really put yourself out there when you make your own costume, your own cosplay, and you put it out there for an audience like that. I can't begin to imagine how nerve-wracking that is at first, and I can't even begin to imagine furthermore how gratifying it would be when you get all these great reactions after the fact.
Yeah, just walk around. It's great.
know.
You never cosplay. You just do the standard suit.
Well, this year I tried something different. Suits.
Yes.
All 4 days, a different suit.
So you should have found me, because then I was all dressed up. And
There you go.
people that
Go
didn't
out to
know
a
who I
ball.
was were like, "You're dressed very nicely for this occasion." I was like, "I'm dressed up," and they were like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, and the black and white suit, people thought, okay, either Men in Black, The Matrix,
Brothers.
Pulp
Yeah,
Fiction,
yeah.
Yeah.
you know, so this is like kind of all-purpose, you know, the black and white
Right.
suit.
Now, this is a Channing special right here.
So to speak, yeah, right. I'm rocking the hex tie in this case.
Joe, do you ever dress up?
No.
Simple answer.
What I do go. Usually, I'll get press passes to a few cons,
Oh,
and
cool.
I'll interview the cosplayers, which you can find on my YouTube page, Dreyfus83.
All right.
Love the
And-
plug.
Usually, I try to ask them questions about their costume, and then just random silly questions and see how they answer.
Does it get hot in that suit?
Yeah. I gotta say, cosplayers, nerds in general, are pretty chill people. You know, there's a couple people who are uptight, but I just don't use their interviews.
Okay. Good.
But
I think they're just excited for somebody to be
Yeah.
talking to them. Like when people were,
They always have a good sense
people
of
were like,
humor.
"Oh my God, it's Holly Golightly." I was like, "Yes, here I am." Like I just started to become that
Hello,
person,
world.
you know? Yeah.
and I'm not speaking a different language to them, like everyone
Yeah,
else in the world.
exactly.
I go to work in the office and I
Yes.
say stuff, and they like look at me like, "What? What's a warp nacelle?"
Right.
But you talk to a cosplayer, they know exactly what you're talking about.
Right,
So-
right.
Yeah. It's like we're all speaking the English version of nerds. So.
Yeah, I love it. It's
And-
universal.
And one suit that I was wearing was like my interpretation of Loki's civilian look from Thor Ragnarok. And I actually took a picture with a couple guys in full-on Loki outfits. And next thing you know, we got like a circle of smartphones clicking away. I was like, okay, cool. I like this. I can dig this.
You definitely have his hair. That's awesome.
Yeah, I got the hair already, so I might as well just rock the rest of the
Did
look.
you take it out of the rubber band?
Well, no. I actually tied it on top, so the rest of it just kind of flows back.
Nice,
kind of,
nice. Very cool.
I kind of did. I don't think I was able to completely capture Tom Hiddleston's look that accurately, so I just did the best that I could.
Gotcha.
You know.
All right, guys. So for time, let's move on.
Okay. Yeah. in the
Sure.
interest of
We've
time,
got
right?
two movies on the docket, I guess. It's called, first one is First Man, and it's basically the story of Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon. And it's directed by Damien Chazelle. It's who did La La Land, Whiplash, phenomenal resume there. And it stars Ryan Gosling and Claire Foy. And yeah, what did you think, Jennifer?
I didn't get to see that one. I only got
Okay.
to see after everything. I
Okay.
did watch the trailer though, so I knew what it was about.
Better than nothing.
I think it's kind of funny that they had what's his name, Ryan Gosling in
was
it
gonna
again.
say, yeah,
I was just
La La
like,
Land, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
I was just
yeah.
like, gee, I wonder how he managed to bag this. Not that I don't like him, but it was just like an interesting casting choice. I think. I don't know. I
Okay.
feel like based on the trailer, I can't speak for his performance. I think he's a great actor, but I was just like, I wonder if this was like the best option, or is like they were like, you were great in La La Land, let's put you in here and make you in this. So.
Directors like to work with people that
They know, yeah,
know and
exactly.
They understand their
But
style.
when you're up that high up on the thing
why-
with Neil Armstrong, I think you could pick almost
Johnny
anyone.
Depp is in every single Tim Burton
Burton
movie.
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
right.
Because you get a flow, you have a friendship.
Yeah, no,
and-
and I
But
get that.
thankfully
But
he's
it
not
was
in
just,
the Dumbo. Or he might be the elephant. I don't know. He is Dumbo.
what would that be like, though? Could you imagine?
Look at history. One of my favorite movie makers of all time, Akira Kurosawa, used to use Toshiro Mifune like over and over and over
yeah?
again for like decades in the early parts of their career.
And I mean, I
So,
get
yeah.
that, but my issue with that just in general is that like it starts to take me out of like I've cast things before, so I'm like as a casting director, like I try to find the person that I feel, especially if you're going to represent like somebody that actually existed,
Yeah.
I want to look for like the perfect person. I mean, I understand
Right.
that you're always going to go with somebody that you're familiar with because you know what they're
Gosling-
going to bring.
Gosling actually did a really good job.
I
He was one of my-
agree.
I
Agreed.
don't
Movie,
disagree with
so-
that. I'm just saying I think
Yeah.
it's
It could have been
interesting.
any attractive blonde actor.
That's what I'm saying to you. That's my point. Yeah.
know?
Only Chris
So-
Hemsworth could have pulled it off.
Too tall. He wouldn't have fit in the
No,
wrong.
he would have been. Chris Hemsworth, I think, would have been too good looking. That would have been
Right.
too much of a distraction. It's like,
Yeah, no, I do like Ryan Gosling. I just always think it's funny when he like appears in these things, and I'm
Yeah.
like, they're
right.
trying to push the like pretty boy look into like Neil
It's
Armstrong
ridiculous.
Well, you know what? I think he was fine actually. I saw the movie
Yeah.
and I saw Ryan Gosling's performance, and I'm like, the dude has range.
now. He's a great actor.
On the one hand, he can rock musicals like La La Land, and on the other hand, he did a damn good Neil Armstrong. I thought, he had that kind of subdued performance and very very serious. I really bought into his performance very much.
He does that serious guy act a lot, though. Like in Drive, that was the whole movie. Like he never smirked, never smiled.
Yeah, right.
He's good, but
He's good. That's why. Yeah.
like I think I might have wanted to see someone else in the role.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little on Ryan Gosling.
If you're talking about
overload.
looks, though, can we talk about the one that played his wife and how
Claire
they
Foy.
toned down her look too much? So you have Ryan Gosling, who's this good-looking dude, and then I'm not saying what was her name again?
Claire Foy.
Claire Foy was. She's very good. Like I've seen other things.
She was
she's
in Game of Thrones, I
right.
think.
She looks good in those, but they really toned her down and made her look very bland
Plain Jane,
compared to
yeah.
him. It was almost.
You know what they
Well,
where
I
they
think
do
that
that
was
a
deliberate,
lot.
though. I think it worked, though. I mean,
Yeah.
They do that a
See, I
lot
didn't-
though, because in I always say this, and it's not a movie, but in The Office, they make those people on that show look awful. Like I've seen some of them in real life. I'm like, they're really attractive, and then they have them like they're painting like purple bags under. I'm like, I get it that they're trying to make it look like they work in an
Like,
office.
what, Angela Kinsey?
Yeah, she looked horrible
She's
in the show. She's really
very, very
attractive
pretty.
in real
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
But I just don't understand why they're doing that. But I guess they want to make it look
I
realistic.
guess.
Yeah, because they don't. I think if they're too attractive for that setting, then I think
Then the
that would
people
be,
are like
that would be
distracted.
the real distraction,
Yeah.
if nothing else.
I agree.
And also John Krasinski. They
Yeah, I mean everyone. Pam.
like you see him now. He's like chiseled.
Yeah, well,
and
the girl that plays Pam, I saw her in something
yeah.
before she was in The Office. I was like, wow, she looks amazing. And then
Jenna
The Office,
Fisher.
yeah, Jenna Fisher. She
Yeah.
just looked okay in The Office all the
yeah,
time.
no, she's a very pretty woman.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
So ultimately, though, the film I thought was rather underwhelming.
Okay.
So it was performed very well. It was just. This is a very big, epic moment in American history, right? It's like one of the mankind even crowning achievements. You
Probably
go
the most
from-
epic moment in human history.
Yeah. You go from, flying a plane for like 10 minutes
Yeah.
to putting a guy on the moon in less than 100 years. It's never been done before. And like his other movies, like Damien Chazelle's other movies, there's just a degree of boredom to it.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I think I'm on the same wavelength
Yeah.
there with 10 Cloverfield Lane. Great movie,
Right.
but it drags.
Right.
So I don't know if he's the greatest screenwriter of all time, but he definitely sets a mood. That's for sure.
Right. So I'm watching this, and there's the controversy where he didn't plant the American flag or they didn't show it.
They showed the flag after the fact. but
Right.
They didn't show him do that.
Yeah, like that
Um,
moment.
Yeah.
Now
a good
so I
point.
looked it up. The Armstrong family supported the film. They said it was fine. Buzz Aldrin, though, is posting on Twitter like against it. So whose side do you take on that? You take the guy's family. You take Buzz Aldrin, the guy who actually
Was
the
there.
second guy there,
I,
right?
I just took my own side as a movie watcher.
Wait, what has Buzz Aldrin said about this?
He didn't actually directly say anything, but he just said, proud to be American, posting pictures of him holding, like, putting the flag on the moon, things like that, was going on his Twitter feed.
Oh, so he actually did
Yeah,
it
he
in
was-
history.
Right.
But in the movie where it's kind of ambiguous, like, what happened?
They just omitted that section from the moon
Right.
landing.
They just
for
show
some
him
reason.
come down the ladder,
Yeah.
step onto the ground, and then they cut to, the flag, the space rocket, going back.
Right.
They don't really show that. Yeah, they.
Well,
Well, maybe the sequel will be the Buzz Aldrin story.
possibly. Well, you know
the
what?
moment they put the flag down, the whole movie.
I mean, I understand that this movie was based on a book, First Man,
Right.
and I get why the movie played out the way they did because from the get-go, with the death of the daughter and so forth, this whole movie was about the personal side of Neil Armstrong.
Right.
That was the focus. That's why they didn't bother to document the rest of American and human history with the planting of the flag on the ground and so forth. It was all about Neil Armstrong and his personal side of these events.
Yeah.
So it was a very
Yeah, I
personal
guess what you're
movie.
saying it's like a different perspective of it, right?
Yeah. It's a
makes
personal
sense.
it's a personal perspective. That's
Right.
why if you're looking for a documentation of American history and human history, be prepared to not to be disappointed
Yeah.
because it's the personal side of Neil Armstrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's
that's
hard
a
to
good
balance
point.
that.
So you look at other movies like The Right Stuff or
Apollo 13.
or From the Earth to the Moon, and they all told this very similar story about space travel in a more dynamic way, a more exciting way. And this movie fell short of making it exciting. They go into his demons and the sacrifices and all of it, and you're just like, pick it up,
Yeah,
throw
yeah,
something in there.
I think that's because you're expecting the whole space travel,
Right.
that journey. You're not expecting to see the personal side
Yeah.
of Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody really wants to see a human drama,
But
really.
if I'm watching Neil Armstrong's life, then show me his whole life. Throw
Yeah.
me from beginning to end,
a
birth to
biopic
death.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
Even though his crowning achievement is landing on the
Yeah.
moon, what did he do after landing on the moon? What was his life like? And show
Yeah,
us
that
that.
50 years
Yeah,
after.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well,
That's interesting, actually. Yeah.
Well, I think that was the most interesting part of Neil Armstrong's
Sure.
life, just his side of the story of what happened with Apollo 11.
Yeah.
That was the focus. I get it, and I'm like, okay, for what it promised, it delivered.
Right. And you know what? Kind of a side note, I think my favorite aspect of the movie is the sound design. And when they actually take you into the space
Oh my
shuttle.
God! I felt like I was spinning in those.
You
rockets.
were-
Oh,
you're
God, I
sensitive.
hate that.
During
I am
those-
severely
have that
motion
ability
sensitive.
now,
Don't get me
though.
started on elevators.
Yeah.
All right.
But I thought that was the best aspect. Forget the direction, forget the performances.
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
an experience in itself.
You really feel like you're in the space
Right.
shuttle.
I really feel like I'm spinning in those things.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I hate that. I hate it.
All right, guys, so for time, we don't have a lot of it.
Yeah.
Next movie, I know, Robin, you weren't a fan of this one.
Oh, definitely not.
I
Yeah.
felt like this after everything.
After everything.
I felt like I was watching the most twisted version of A Walk to Remember that I've ever seen in my
yeah.
life.
That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Nice
I was
reference
I
there.
was I was watching it, and in the first 15 minutes, he's diagnosed with cancer or whatever, and I'm thinking, oh my God, like it's gonna be like A Walk to Remember where he's gonna die at the end. Like I just expected that.
No spoilers, by the way. No spoilers.
Okay, well, that's what I thought.
Okay.
And so then, I mean, everybody knows the movie's about cancer. You can look it up on in the internet
That's
and
true.
tell you that. But so that's what I thought. So then, halfway through the movie, he's like, oh, let's get married or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be some twisted movie where they're stuck married to each other and he's going to survive. Like, I'm just thinking this, and like,
Yeah.
I'm so cynical about it. I was like, I felt like it was just one disaster. I liked the movie, but it was just one disaster after another. I was like cringing. I
It's
was like, this
bleak.
is so bad.
Oh,
yeah.
God,
So you
yeah.
weren't a fan.
I liked the movie. I
Okay.
thought the direction was really good. I thought the actors were really good. And my favorite thing, and Joe will back me up, is like lighting in movies. And I thought
Okay.
the lighting in it was phenomenal.
Plus, they filmed in New York. So
Funny.
that's
Yeah.
great.
The lighting was fun. I didn't like the
hates
the
my
color
lighting.
grading of
See,
the film.
I
thought
liked
that
that.
gray,
Huh.
I enjoyed
bland
that.
gray
I liked it. It was like a
motif
muted.
over it.
Yeah, because I
I
felt
like
the
I
whole
don't
thing.
like movies doing that.
No.
In general, I don't like that.
I loved
want to
that, but
see the colors. I want to
just-
see the realisticness of
I just
it.
wasn't ready for the emotional roller coaster
But it was
that
a cool
movie
movie.
was.
That's why they did it that way.
Yeah, it was deliberate. I thought it served its purpose.
Well, it's
Yeah.
a romantic dramedy, so it's.
No,
like-
this was
there was
more
no
than a dramedy, okay?
No,
Were there
just,
jokes?
just romantic drama.
There
That's
was
it.
There were
just
no jokes.
drama. There was not
there
a
was
joke in
comedy.
there.
I didn't find anything funny in this movie. I'm sorry.
It started off kind of whimsical, in my opinion, with Jeremy Allen White. I thought he was great.
It was
Okay.
believable.
Yeah.
It was definitely one of the most
Like hitting
honest
on
things
random
I've
girls.
ever.
Believable as far as I'm
it was
concerned.
very believable. I
Yeah.
felt like I was like, oh, I've almost lived this.
It
you
was
know?
too honest.
Yeah.
That was the problem with
too
it.
hon-
So if you look at, again, comparing it to other films like it, 50-50 or
Yes.
Terms of Endearment or something like that,
Oh.
all those other cancer movies, and there's something either with the characters that you're following or there's some kind of maybe dramatic touch to it. But this was just too, it was just too realistic. It was too, like, this is exactly how it would happen.
Okay.
And you don't want to see how it exactly happened. You want to walk away with maybe a little bit of hope or a little bit of something.
That's why I said it
And
felt like a
this
twisted walk.
somehow gives you hope and then immediately takes it away and makes your life
Oh,
Too realistic.
Because in some of the scenes I couldn't believe what I
Yeah.
was watching, but then I was watching it and I was thinking, I can believe this because this happens all the time.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching my own life, but with somebody with cancer in it.
And
instead.
like, you told me no spoilers,
Joe.
but I'm sorry. Like, you want to take the girl's side. The guy is completely wrong. Like,
Yeah.
she is 100% right, and she does all
Yeah.
these things for him. And
He's a douche.
once yes.
I was trying.
Once-
I was.
once
There were,
it's her turn,
there were
the guy.
parts. Yes,
Yeah.
there were parts I was like really trying to like him, but then I had to remember like. I think the reason why they made him not very likable was because they said at one point they're like, you're 23 and you have cancer, and then you often were
And
like,
that
let's
gives you
get
a-
married.
That
and-
gives you a free pass of being a jerk.
I'm not saying it gives you a free pass, but
Right.
then as somebody who's older than 23, I was like, oh, okay, well, people do act like this at 23, and then after
And
all
all-
this bad stuff happens, they're like, oh,
Right.
maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
So
he,
it's a wake-up
he gave
call.
some
He was very
perspective.
human.
Yeah.
He was also logically immature.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was immature, but I've met people who are like that and aren't bad people. Like, he was being a jerk, but
Yeah.
I was almost for an
just-
understandable reason. I was trying so hard
He
to like
just
him.
did not have the opportunity to man up and actually mature, given
Yeah, there was just
the
not enough-
lifestyle that he had and
Yeah.
also the cancer and so forth. I hated this movie with a passion.
I wouldn't. I liked it.
It's a good thing that I kept this on a message thread that is between just you and me, Randy.
Yeah.
It is not to be shared with anybody beyond that.
Don't
Yeah, I
worry.
mean, if you're an emotional wreck to begin with, if you have bad things going on in your life, do not watch this
Yeah, it
film.
won't
Oh my God, this was
plunge you
like
into the depths of
I
darkness.
was like,
I-
I didn't
I-
know what I had just seen.
I was like, I consider myself, in all fairness to the movie, the wrong possible person to watch it. But based on what I'm hearing from you guys, I don't think I'm alone here.
Yeah.
Because it's just hits way too close to home. It's way too freaking real.
Again,
Yeah.
I guess it didn't feel like a story. Like a lot of movies, you feel like you're being taken on like a journey or a story,
Right.
but I
This
felt like
kind
I
of
was taking on a
starts-
journey of somebody I knew.
Well,
It was
that,
weird.
I like that it moved. It didn't
It
waste
did
your
move.
time.
It did move.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
You look at a
the
movie
pacing's
that's
good.
like
Yeah.
a downer. You look at like a movie like Ordinary People. That movie's just a depressing movie. Right?
Oh God, I hate
But
it. Yeah.
you watch this movie and you're just like, it's just all just negative.
No,
It's
just
sucking you
so
out.
many
Yeah.
agonies, so much
Even
despair.
the
I mean,
ending is supposed to be uplifting, and you're not really uplifted. by
But
it.
I
I'm
okay,
like,
I don't
what?
want to give away what the ending
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
but I thought the ending was the best part because because for this one reason is that I don't know what happened. Do you know what I'm saying? They
Right.
showed
Just
like
trails off.
it
A little
trails
ambiguous.
off, and you can kind of
Does he
just be
get her
like,
in the end? Do they,
yes,
yeah,
and it
she's
felt like,
walking.
but that's what happens with a
Louis,
lot of
this
people's
could be the
relationships.
beginning of a beautiful friendship.
No, that was like a nice
don't.
part for me.
Yeah.
That's like too much of an appraisal.
You know, and they did that awkward thing where it was
Casablanca
like,
I know, right? No, I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, I consider the ending to be too. If I were to give any merit to this movie, I would consider the ending to be sobering.
that's like they're both walking
like
in the
that
same
term.
direction. Yeah, and it's like, how many times does that happen where you think you're saying goodbye to someone and you end up walking in the same direction, you know? And
Yeah.
then like the movie just was like trailing off like that.
Yeah,
And I was like,
been
this
there,
is great.
done that. And I'm like, I go to movies to escape day-to-day life and reality and so forth. And
This was not that.
This does fall into the category of slice of life. In fact, there are a lot of anime shows that fall into that category, slice of life.
Yeah.
This was like a wedge of like the worst aspects of life. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was the worst aspects of life.
I
Totally.
was
But-
like, you know.
I'll give the movie this. The performances were pretty decent.
Oh, I
especially
thought
yeah.
the casting
Yeah.
was great.
the girl who plays Mia, she was
Yeah,
pretty decent.
Yeah, they were all
Monroe.
very.
What's
I
her name?
was-
Ma-
the only thing
Maika
I found-
Monroe. That's her
Maika
name.
Monroe.
Yeah.
The only thing I found-
I thought she was great.
The only thing
Cameos from.
I was gonna say, the only thing-
Marissa Tomei and.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Marissa
Oh, yeah,
Tomei, she's the only thing I found remotely appealing about the movie.
I think that was the
Marissa
reason
Tomei.
why I picked this movie, because of her involvement in it.
Yeah, but she
You're
wasn't.
a minor
In it
involved.
I know.
enough.
Minor.
She didn't
Right,
really
right.
have like enough. Like her character, I mean, she did a great job, but it
Yeah.
wasn't like she was showing some
No.
emotional range. I mean, really,
She was just
there
a
was the two
doctor.
main people that
Showed up for
yeah.
a day and went home.
Yeah,
Basically,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
Pretty
she could have
much.
just done all her shooting, all her scenes. All in
She
one
probably
day.
did, to be honest with you.
Yeah, right. Because same set and so forth.
Yeah.
So, that was all we
Yeah,
saw
she was
her
just
in.
in the doctor's office,
How
right?
did you get an actor like that? Is what I wonder.
I don't know. Maybe she knew
Joe's
somebody.
wants
they
one.
knew-
Marissa, if
Yeah,
you're listening,
Deepak,
Joe would
yeah.
like you for
She
his
was
next
inter-
film.
She was interested in the story and so forth. But the thing is, I hate this movie.
Yes, yes.
So much. But at the same time, I don't consider it a bad movie.
Right. Okay.
For
Right.
what it is, for what it was intended for, it delivered. And it was I will say it was well made. It's not like it was badly made. It's not like an Ed Wood kind of movie. It was a well-made movie.
Right.
Well lit,
Right.
well directed, well acted, well produced for what it's supposed
It
to
was
be.
just the content that kind of rubbed me the wrong
I
way.
am just the wrong possible person to
Yeah.
watch it.
I think you're summing it pretty well. It was all done by the book. But
Yeah.
there's just something
No,
missing.
there are a lot of
Too
things
honest.
I simply did not like. All right, I am against this. I'm against it on
All right.
such a
All right.
fundamental level.
Robin, before we blow a gasket,
Yeah. All right.
I want to just
Passionate.
do a little plug here for a new Blu-ray release. It's the classic Western comedy City Slickers, starring Billy Crystal, Daniel Stern, and the late great Bruno Kirby. And guys, have you seen City Slickers?
The ultimate midlife crisis movie.
Yeah, man, this is
Wait,
so
Joe would
good.
know.
Jack Palance in that one?
Yes.
Yeah, Jack.
He was in
thank you.
both. He was in
Yeah,
the
yeah, I was
sequel
gonna
also.
say,
Jack
Yeah,
Palance won an
Curly's
Oscar
brother,
for this.
Duke.
Yeah.
And basically, it's got it's loaded with special features, documentaries, commentary, and
You know, you watch that when you're 10, it says something, and then when you rewatch it at 35, you're like,
Oh, boy.
this is calling out a little bit too much to me.
Another
Like,
sobering experience.
It's-
yeah. But it's from Shout Factory. They do a lot of previous releases, like older films like this. It's from 1991, and you really don't see movies like this anymore.
No.
It's so good.
1991. That's
Yeah.
the year that I was born.
Oh, real? Wow.
So-
Every
Okay.
era delivers its own kind of
Here's the
movie.
movie that takes like a depressing concept of turning 39, and then, you know, it's kind of bleak and dark,
Yeah,
and
I
then
don't know what it is.
there's a positive spin at the end of
Yeah,
it. Though.
yeah,
Like
it's-
there's
it's a-
hope, there's a light at the end of
It's
the
a
tunnel.
beautiful movie, and you know
And
what?
Jake Gyllenhaal's in it.
Jake
He
Gyllenhaal plays
the
his
kid.
10-year-old
That's right.
son.
I didn't even know you were talking about this, and I'm ready to talk
Yeah,
about
there we
this
go.
right now.
Daniel Stern. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Helen Slater. I got a picture.
Yeah,
I-
Supergirl.
Yeah,
Supergirl's in it.
I got a picture with her from last year's Eternal Con, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm taking this home.
She
with
seems
me.
like she'd be a nice person.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, she is like a princess. Her
Yeah.
demeanor. She's so soft-spoken.
Well, isn't
She has-
Supergirl sort of royalty in a way?
Well, sort of. I forget.
Yeah.
But Helen Slater, she has this serene presence to her.
Ooh.
And we all know of a certain movie that she did with Michael J. Fox.
Yes.
I said don't say the title because
Why?
I said because I said like a really cool compliment for her.
Uh-huh.
After I took the picture with Helen Slater, I said to her, and I'm quoting almost verbatim, that I am a believer in good luck charms, and I hope this picture will be the secret of my success.
Awesome. I love that.
Her
movie.
reaction was epic.
Yeah. She was so young. That was what, 1986.
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that's why I said
awesome.
don't say the name of the movie because I wanted to say what I said to her.
Gotcha.
All right.
But basically, Shout Factory, they're awesome. They do all these old releases. They bring them, they polish them up a bit and re-release them, and great company. So yeah, guys, unfortunately, we have a few minutes, and there's
Okay.
3 of you.
All right.
Plugs. What do we want to plug today?
All right.
Go first.
Ladies first.
Well, we're
the
plugging
trailer.
the same. Yeah, we have
Yeah.
a trailer.
You got a trailer which
Yeah.
we're going to show in 1 minute.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll just plug our movie, which is.
Talk about it a bit. What's it about?
Well, you talk about it because it's your
Broken Hearted
creation, not mine.
is my attempt at drama because nobody liked my comedies. So I was like, I'm gonna write some drama, and usually when I write drama, it comes out funnier than any comedy I ever wrote. And
There are
so-
some funny things in this, though. I mean, this would be, in my opinion, having worked on it too, would be the definition of a dramedy. That other movie was not a dramedy. There
No.
was no laughing.
No,
This
no,
was
no.
like
Yeah.
some lines in here where it was real. It's realistic, but
Yeah.
it's like funny realistic while
Okay.
also serving a dramatic purpose at the same
So it's a
time.
comedy masquerading as a drama.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's a drama with funny aspects to it. I
Okay.
mean, there's
Good
some
Will
serious.
Hunting, where it's a lot of drama in
I
there.
got a
But
number,
then there's
yeah.
jokes.
Okay.
But Good Will Hunting's much better written.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, don't sell yourself. This is the next Good Will Hunting.
Joe
Yeah,
loves
yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, I really liked Good Will Hunting, by the way. Oh, and as long as we're plugging ourselves, Robin Channing, my website, robinchanning.com, and also I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so on and so forth. As a matter of fact, I've been posting a lot of food pictures on my Instagram, so check that out.
Wait a minute, back. A food picture. I know you like that Cook Up a Storm movie.
yeah.
This is interesting. You're very into foodology or whatever.
Oh, yes. Oh, very much so. As a matter of fact, back in mid-February, I decided to do a 180 with my whole lifestyle between what I eat and how I exercise. And now I'm exercising, so you know,
Nice. Yeah, you look very trim.
Yeah.
Good.
So lost a lot of weight,
Good.
and that's because my recipes that I do for myself, they're more keto oriented. So
Okay.
I've been using the keto hashtag, and also one aspect that one of my magician friends taught me, a fine female magician named Marian Black. She taught me this hashtag that I've been using for my food, my food photos.
Okay.
Hashtag I cooked while pissed off.
Okay.
I'm like, that's such a cool hashtag. Can I use it? She's like, yeah, go ahead.
I want to hear. Next time, I want to hear all about that.
Go ahead.
We only have time for the trailer. This is what, The Broken Hearted or just Broken Hearted?
Broken Hearted.
Broken Hearted. Here's the trailer, guys.
I met the love of my life.
The friend zone?
Sometimes Ducky gets the girl.
Ducky never gets the girl.
I got a trick that no one will see coming.
And it's not a date.
Sure, it's not.
You're gonna get tired of her in a week anyway, like you always do.
I made a mistake of telling one of his friends he was beating me.
You can't possibly carve out a happy life with this guy.
I love him.
She's playing you. She is playing you.
Tell her the way she's like treating you is just disrespectful. Focus on the people who want to be in your life.
You wanna go ice skating next weekend?
Sure.
Instead of the ones that don't.
Stay away from me and stay away from my fiance.
She made it impossible for me to be in your life.
No, I don't want to just be confused every single day.
What are you confused about? Johnny, I didn't know your brother danced.
we would be the two happiest people in all of existence.
Awesome, guys. That's Broken Hearted. Can't wait for that to come out.
I like to play with toysproductions.com.
Awesome.
And at j.co100 Instagram.
Nice, nice. And just a few more plugs for Magnitude, our wonderful sponsor. We've got on October 26th to the 28th, the New Life Expo at the New Yorker Hotel in Manhattan. For more information, go to newlifeexpo.com. Also, November 10th through the 11th is the Naval Expo at the Sheraton Times Square, also in Manhattan. www.navalexpo.com. And lastly, on November 15th, the Boom Business Expo at the Huntington Hilton, and that would more information at boombiznet.com. And I want to thank everyone who's been on my show today, my wonderful panelists. Thank you, guys. I've been your host, Randy Unger. This is Unger the Radar, and we'll be back next Sunday at 6 o'clock Eastern. Take care, guys.
Under the Radar is all new next week at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with more movie reviews and interviews on Strong Island Radio and Television. Stay tuned. We'll see you next week.